Icey, this is a budget laptop test using my i3 with 4 threads, 2 cores but 4 threads, 8 gigs of RAM here. This is a game that I was able to play mostly on a slower quad core laptop. When I say slower, I mean it was a bit choppier. Less RAM in there, maybe only 4 gigs of RAM on that laptop. But this is a much more powerful laptop, and I'm fairly certain that I should be able to play this game at mostly 60 frames a second. I played it without recording commentary earlier, and I got darn near 60. Maybe a couple of dips that were barely noticeable. I think we did just fine. Uh-oh, I can't go back. Well, remember how to play the game, kids? We can, yeah, we haven't made any progress since then. We can start from, we're not start from the beginning, but let's see if we can upgrade. Quadra Slash will not stun large enemies. Cyclone Air, unleash a war's attack. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We'll worry about that. I need some more money before I can buy any of these, so we'll do that later. This game ran at about maybe 40 to 50 frames a second. I want to say on my slower laptops, my slower quad cores with the AMD APU inside of it. But this is running at a solid 60 here, so this is the kind of game you definitely want to have lying around if you're into these. If you're into these brawlers, this one's actually not bad. I didn't really stick with it. I thought it was kind of repetitive. So we'll see how it goes. And I wasn't really a fan of this scrolling where you're nearly 3/4 of the way to the side of the screen before you can scroll. Like this is a PC Engine game or something. Press the right bumper to dash. Okay, thanks. Whoop, whoop. I also press the jump button while I'm recovering from the dash, apparently. Works for me. Yeah, totally forgot about that. Saw that red laser. Wrong button. Yeah, wrong button. Gotta press the right bumper to dash. Playing with a gamepad, of course, because, I mean, come on. I'm that gamer. Gamepad for everything. Unless I'm playing Civ 4 or something. Yeah, careful. I like that little diving attack I do. Just a second. Whack! Whack! There you go. You can press the Y button twice for that little diving finisher. Whoop. Of course, it's kind of hard to hit on that second. It's kind of hard to hit. Did I hit him? Okay. I did that B button QTE twice. I thought he would have been dead by now, but okay, there we go. Didn't take that much damage. But yeah, why are we moving so far to the edge of the screen? Probably because we're playing in a probably because we're playing at an EVGA resolution. So let's have a little fun with this for this bit of the demo. I'm pretty sure I didn't say half VSync. 720. On. Just on. Like, I think we'll be fine. So let's see if we can hold 60 with, yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to hold 60 with this frame rate. I mean, yeah, with this resolution, we might not hold 60, but it might not drop that much. Let's just see how we do. Whackety whackety. Okay, we're good. Destroy enemies' cores to restore your own HP and shield. Okay, so that's what the B button does. So I get some health back. That's cool. Dash. Your shield reduces the damage you take. No auto regen if you avoid taking damage. That's cool. Thanks for clearing that up. That. Careful. You can double dash. That's cool. Yeah, there's that heavy attack. There's that diving heavy attack. And we're dead. Okay, so I'm still moving pretty close to the edge of the screen, even in widescreen mode, so that's not great. I should not be 3/4 of the way near the edge of the screen before it starts scrolling. That's a bit much. Yeah, it's a bit much. Missed. B. So that's the first B button attack. Took took 2 pits of damage, but that's not bad. B. That should be the killer, right? Yeah, that's the killer. Okay, so we're good. Rolling 60, that's good. Widescreen 720, that's more than good enough for a laptop like this. I'm gonna have to give it a greater stress test, but we're doing okay. Hold the X to absorb the crystals and let go for whatever that is. Okay, fine. We good? We good. So yeah, it's good to know they got a that stupid. Good to know we got a lot of games that can run at 60 frames a second on this laptop, but I'm still massively disappointed that Saints Row 4 runs as poorly as it does. I'll see if Saints Row 3 runs a little bit better. But there were, I mean, like I said, Just Cause 2 running at 60 is amazing because that was the goal. That was the dream. The ability to play Just Cause 2 on the go at 60 frames a second. That is definitely the dream. These are too expensive. So we'll come back later. But yeah, like having like again, you can't play Just Cause 2 at 60 frames a second on a console. Well, at least not. Well, technically, no, you can't, because all the console versions are capped at 30, and the PlayStation 4 can't unlock that. It's a PlayStation 3 game, can't unlock that. They never re-released Just Cause 2, and I'm disappointed. God dash button. Careful. No, that wasn't good. Yeah, I have a launcher. B button. He's not dead, obviously. And I can do those attacks in midair. I can do my heavy attacks in midair. It's gonna counterattack. Careful. Yeah, you know what's gonna happen. That's what that exclamation point was about. Didn't take that much damage. Launcher. There you go. So if you keep whacking on the X, but if you keep whacking on the X light attack button in midair, you do the little spin. I think he's dead, or at least he's lost interest. Nope. Wait. Hold on. Here we go. We're not done yet. You have a narrative beat to hit. That can't be good. Oh well. Yeah, 60 frames a second. I guess we did all right. Was this my first Chinese video game, technically? I think it was. I mean, obviously, I think there might have been some like Japanese games that were developed in China too, but I think this was my first like actual factual Chinese video game. Yeah, because I can't. I mean, I know there were some others. I want to say, what was that? Earth's Dawn. That was a PlayStation 4 Flash game, but actually, that might have been Japanese. And of course, I played FIST on this channel. Forged in Shadow Torch, I think it's called. You know, it was the Bucky O'Hare. It was the Bucky O'Hare brawler that I played on this channel. It runs on the Switch. It's not amazing, but it runs on the Switch. It doesn't look amazing though, even when it's mounted. Read me. Don't take anything personally. Do not share any classified material. What? The contents of this experiment are not intended to insult or offend. Okay, I understand. Do not contaminate results. About I. Developed by Phantom Blade. Phantom Blade is the company that made this game, right? Phantom Blade. But yeah, I'm very curious. I mean, obviously before Genshin Impact, there were some Chinese developers who were getting their feet wet releasing some of their games here in the States. But I was curious how many like actual factual Chinese games were making their way over here. And of course, we got Genshin Impact, which I think might have been the first big like AAA game to hit it off big in the West, at least in the United States. And it was presented as, you know, free to play Breath of the Wild. Oh, yes, I am. So you prefer a more difficult journey? What if I said yes? Hard mode. We're not scared. So I wasn't paying attention to what all of those other prompts were doing. So I guess that was just a tutorial. Start. I can't start. Huh. Oh, okay, there we go. Continue with narrator. Was that going to make a difference? I mean, okay, is the game doing this thing on purpose? It's one of those games, I've been told. Like, what were they? I think they were like taking inspiration from, what was it, Thomas Was Alone? Or was it that other game, that first person game with like the narrator? I forgot what it was called. The Stanley Parable, I think it was called. I might own that game. I'll double check. I might have picked it up in a humble bundle. Never paid it any mind. But what's next? Next on my what's next? I do want to play some more demanding games because there are a bunch of like 2D games I got here, like your Gradius, your Konami arcade collection, your Castlevania collection, which I know already runs on older laptops. Got Gem Power, which is basically a ROM. It was ROM rolled. It was literally a ROM rolled into an emulator and sold on Steam. So I'm pretty sure that ROM's gonna run. If I think it's literally just an SMD file or something, which means it's probably gonna run on a separate emulator if I do that. Again, this channel doesn't do ROMs and emulators that are unofficially licensed. We only do commercial ROMs on this channel, which means when I played the Mega Man Legacy collection on this channel, it was a collection of ROMs that Capcom sold, obviously. I think it was Twitter that confirmed. Oh yeah, we just did a. I think they cracked open the files and said, "Oh yeah, it's literally just ROMs." So I mean, obviously we play like the SNK ROMs on the arcade collection that I purchased. The menu was really slow on that other quad core laptop I have, but I did. What was it? Yeah, the menu was slow, but the game played fine. So basically, once the game was running, once the arcade ROMs for the SNK Psycho Soldier arcade game was running in memory, it ran basically flawless. I just thought it was weird the menu was slow. I do need to pull out the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle because I remember Final Fight was kind of sluggish on that thing. By sluggish, I mean 50 to 55 frames a second. But I should be able to get a solid 60, I would hope. But there was one other game I was supposed to test. Well, I mean, again, there are a couple of games I had problems with. Like Abzu was really sluggish, probably 20 frames a second, which is arguably not the way you want to play Abzu. I doubt I can run Alien Isolation on here, but if I could get 30 frames a second, it would be amazing. Um, Darksiders 2 is supposed to run just fine on this laptop. I didn't test it yet. Blades of Time ran at 60 frames a second, so I'll pull out the full version. But yeah, it ran at 60. It's basically 60, gain to end. So I'll pull that out a bit later. The Blades of Time, again, these sorts of PlayStation 3 era games, I wanted them all to run at 60 if I could help it. 30 ideally. Which is why I was disappointed that Saints Row 4 ran as poorly as it did. Hold why. I'm not paying attention to any of this. I'm not paying attention to any of the story here. But yeah, I couldn't find my hard drive copy of Shadow of Mordor, so I'll just download it from Steam. It's like 50 gigabytes. I can also try Shadow of War at things like 100 gigabytes, which so it won't even fit on the laptop. But the point is to run it at 60, and I think I should be able to run Shadow of Mordor at 30 frames a second on this laptop. I mean, it runs. I mean, I'm not gonna say it runs on a PlayStation 3, obviously, because it barely ran on that thing. I had a video where I was recording footage from it, and that thing barely ran. But I mean, let me put it this way: it ran at like 25 frames a second most of the time. But then when there was any kind of like crowd, it would dip into the teens. So things would get really rough, and I was able to easily push it into the low teens, maybe even single digits at some points. To be fair, the game was still playable, if I'm being honest. It's not the way to play that game, and obviously everyone was disappointed with the way that game performed on the older consoles. You know, the Xbox 360 required a hard drive installation. I believe I actually installed it on a USB stick, which is saying something. And the load times were really bad. Like I'd say, if you were trying to load a menu for the first time, it would like struggle. It took like I think 20 or 30 seconds, I think, to load up from the menu. But it ran. And again, I liked the game. It was ugly as sin, but I was able to run it and I liked it a lot and I wound up buying it. And obviously on the PS4 and on the Xbox One, it's a much better game. I mean, the consistent frame rate and the ability to just kind of see what's going on helps. So it runs more consistently on those consoles, so it's a better version of the game. And if you're playing on PC, it's legitimately one of the best brawlers in the last decade. It's a legit brawler. So we'll end this video very shortly, so let's just get along to this. I wanted to get 10 minutes, and I got 10 minutes, so that's what matters. Re-upgrading? Oh, I can't. Well, first of all, I can't afford any of this. Took a while for that to load up, but whatever. Up. There you go. So you can do the falling rain heavy attack, which I think is kind of hilarious. That gentle fall that you do on the third Y button attack. That thing. I love that. That is really nice. It's like you're floating and then you do a ground pound. It's great. And you gotta get the spinning saw blade, whatever you call that finisher on the aerial attack. The fourth aerial weak attack is a spinning saw blade. That's kind of amazing. You can pull down and press weak attack for that little ground pound. That's finisher. Okay, just keep doing it. There we go. You just keep doing it. It works for me. So we're holding 60. That's what counts. Yep. Do another launcher by holding up and pressing the weak attack button. Then you can just mash on that weak attack button to do the saw blade finisher. Dig it. I mean, there's a similar move in Blades of Time that I really like. That little tumbling saw blade attack that characters can do. Dig it. Give me that finisher. So you can only attack, well, you can only do the finisher on one enemy at a time. Hold on. Yeah, they hit me. B. I guess I was invincible during that. So we can, yeah, there we go. We can launch them both. That's cool. Got my hit streak going. Got a 60 hitter. So that means that I'm doing more damage. Okay, what was that about? Can I launch them? Nice. Ah! Ah! I'm fighting a pair of fists. Wasn't that in Battletoads? Actually, no, you were fighting feet in Snake, Rattle, and Roll. Yeah, I can't launch them. Yeah, I knew it was gonna counter. Not dead. Hey, got me somehow. There we go. There's your launcher. All right. So am I ever gonna play this game from beginning to end? Probably not. Whoops. I just thought that it was kind of interesting, but kind of got repetitive after a while. I might play it later. We'll see how it goes. I can do a bunch of air dashes. No complaints. Yeah, a bunch of air dashes sounds amazing. But you're in this arena, so don't get too comfortable doing that. You're not going to be able to get very far if you're stuck in this arena. That's finisher. That's another finisher. Get my launcher up. Do the spinning saw blade finisher. Wait, someone's behind me. There's another finisher. Yeah, we'll just hit him with that heavy attack. And we got a bunch of launchers up. Yeah, heavy attack finishers. There we go. We got a couple of B button finishers we can do there. So yeah, we're getting 60. I think we're good. We'll be fine. This game's perfectly playable on this laptop. So really, it's about a game that it's about Kingdoms of Amalur, Shadow of Mordor, and I think a couple of other games I need to test because I get the idea. Like Tales of Arise got me. I can hold 30. If I can hold 30 frames a second with Tales of Arise, we'll be fine. I might need a frame rate limiter on Tales of Arise, to be honest. No save. Yeah, there's nowhere to save my game. Give me that. So you can diagonally upward. Okay. So there's my save point. Okay, so we'll end this game. We'll end this video at least. So Icey can be played. I want to say I bought this game for like $3 a while ago. I'm like, yeah. I might end up playing it eventually. This might be a game that I just play like eventually. It's going on the back burner. Like it seemed interesting, I just never really stuck with it. So this was recorded on my Core i3. It's got 2 cores and 4 threads on 8 gigabytes of RAM, 3200 MTs, I think it's called. It's 11th generation GPU in here. I have not upgraded the GPU, unfortunately. I've not upgraded the video driver since 2023, so I'll get around to doing that. Will Saints Row 4 run better? We'll find out once I upgrade those drivers. I recorded this actual footage at 60 frames a second on my quad-core Celeron 1 gigahertz Windows 10 education laptop using the camera app via the Vivitar dongle, the Vivitar USB dongle. So I will not be playing more of this game in the near future, but I wanted to at least confirm that it runs well on the laptop, and it does. A $300 laptop is running this game just fine. That's good to know. So if you got 4 cores and 8 gigs of RAM, you might be okay. On Windows 11 at that. So you might be okay on this laptop. That is Icey on the Core i3 laptop.